What's going on, guys? Dan here from Skateboard Strength, and today I'm taking you for a quick guide on hot pockets for skaters and some common things I see done wrong when trying to rehabilitate this injury. So the number one reason I see skaters not progressing with their hot pocket related injuries is simply due to a lack of education in and around what is happening with the injury. So let's take a second to educate you now. Got me fancy foot model? Hot pockets usually occur when the shin bone begins to make contact with the ankle bone, known as the talus. This movement is called upon massively for skating, as skaters go to bend their knees to set up for tricks or absorb landings. As the knee travels forward, this places us into dorsiflexion at the ankle, and greater ranges of motion are required the more the knee has to travel forward. When there isn't this range of motion or faulty mechanics at the ankle, this begins to create this pinching sensation that then leads to irritation and potentially degenerative change over time. This is the hot pocket. So essentially, every time you go to set up for a trick or absorb a landing, this is what's happening at the ankle. So now we know what's happening. Here is where I see most rehab programs go wrong. Skaters spend a great majority of their time really overworking their feet. They are constantly on their toes as they push down to initiate the pop phase, and their feet are always gripping on for dear life as they maneuver and steer their boards. This creates a huge amount of tension and tightness at the feet and at the arch of the foot. Now let's look back at our model here for a second. In order for the shin bone to move forward effectively, the talus needs to be allowed to drop down in order to create room for the shin bone to do so. Skaters, due to tightness and overuse at their feet and their default mode of digging their big toe into the ground, will create this overarching or supination at the foot, which doesn't allow these mechanics to happen effectively. Getting them to relax their foot and go into what we call foot pronation will allow the talus to drop down and create room for the shin bone to move forward effectively. Essentially, without this education, they will revert back to their baseline mechanics of gripping the toe in and creating that arch and support, rendering any exercise they get given to try and maximize ankle dorsiflexion useless. You can really see this at play when a skater is given an ankle mobilization drill with the band, but the skater is gripping on for dear life with their foot and holding on to that arch, rendering the exercise completely useless. Okay, so now we've got the info. Let's look at the program and how we go about fixing this. For mobility, we're gonna start by rolling our feet with the mobility ball. Simply gonna grab the ball, place it on the ground, and then from there, just gonna roll back and forth, up and down, making sure you don't put too much pressure on. And from there, when you do find a spot that feels particularly gnarly, I just want you to sit on that for a second, take a deep breath in and out, and then flex and extend at the toes, back and forth, before you continue on to find your next little gnarly spot. Next, for mobilization, you're gonna perform the very common forward knee drill. Now this is where everything we've learned comes into play. As you perform this drill where you try and get your knee over the toe as much as possible, this is where we want to allow that arch to collapse slightly to allow the talus to drop down, and as an added bonus, get your big toe up off the ground so that you don't rely on it and you don't clench on the ground. This will allow you to effectively allow that talus to drop down, allow that knee to come forward, allow that shin bone to move forward effectively. Now, the big thing here is if you currently have some anterior ankle impingement, I don't want you to push through to the range where you feel that impingement. Your range of motion will be dictated by how far you can go applying all of these concepts pain-free. So at the start, you may only get to here, which is fine. The idea is as you increase range of motion, as the irritation settles down, you'll be able to go further and further down. We're gonna perform these forward knee drills that we've done before, but we are gonna do it a little bit different. We're gonna hang our big toe off something, whether it be our boards or even just a book on the ground like I have. And from there, you're gonna perform your toe touches. Now, toes up off the ground, toes hanging off the edge. You're simply gonna try and bring your knee forward as much as you can, like that. Come back, side, again, back, and then in and around. I want you to only go as far as you can comfortably. So as you go on, you get range of motion, but at the start, you may only get to here each time as you come around. That's fine. As you build tolerance and stability and range of motion in terms of like dorsiflexion of the ankle and get confident, you'll be able to bend that knee further and further. Finally, for strength, we're gonna perform two exercises. The first is a tib anterior raise. So you basically walk your heels out from the wall and then have your back out onto the wall, your top or your shoulders against the wall, creating a straight line. From there, you're gonna get onto your heels and then you're simply gonna try and get your toes to come up towards your shin, like so. Now, the further you go away, the easier this is gonna be. And the closer you get to the wall, the harder it's gonna make it. So choose your distance depending on where your level's at. From there, we're just gonna go up and come down with control, come all the way through and back down. Finally, for strength, we're gonna perform a front foot elevated split squat. Again, hanging our toe off the edge. So get yourself into like a really nice long lunge position, hang your toe off the edge of the book or whatever you're using. And from there, you're simply gonna try and get the knee over the toe as much as comfortably possible. Drive, hold for 3 seconds, and then big drive back, come down with control, have a big pause at the bottom, and then drive back. If you currently have some irritation, make sure you only go to your current pain-free range of motion. So this may be here for you to start with, and then back in again, find that range and just work that range of motion. As the weeks go on and as your irritation starts to settle and you get better mechanics at the ankle, it will allow you to explore further and deeper ranges of motion. And that's it. How to relieve yourself of those nasty ankle impingement issues and get yourself back to skating. It is important to note that if you currently have some irritation from your hot pocket, you may need to take some time off the board in order for that irritation to be allowed to settle down and to allow the program to take in effect. This program is also just a snippet of the full ankle injuries for skateboarders program available at the Skateboard Strength website right now. The link will be in the comments section, so be sure to head over there and grab yourself a copy today. As usual, hit the like and subscribe button and share it around with anyone that can use this info.